Name: Otyli Vranska. Age: 22. Occupation: student. Originally from Slovakia, she moved to Prague to study and work. Reports suggest she may have been involved in sex work, although this has never been definitively proven. The crime: October 1933. On October 2, 1933, railway workers discovered two large brown suitcases in different parts of Czechoslovakia. One suitcase was found at the Kosice train station, eastern Slovakia. Another was found at the Prague train station, western Czechoslovakia. Upon opening the suitcases, the workers were horrified to find dismembered body parts of a young woman. The body had been brutally cut into pieces, arms, legs, and torso separated. The head was found in Prague, and the torso in Kosice. Authorities quickly determined the remains belonged to the same individual. Through clothing, dental records, and physical features, the victim was soon identified as Otyli Vranska. The case became known as the suitcase murder, also referred to as the Otyli Vranska murder. The investigation quickly turned into a national sensation due to the brutality and mystery surrounding the crime. The suitcases were sent by train, addressed anonymously. Police believed the killer murdered Otyli in Prague, dismembered her, and mailed parts to different destinations to obstruct identification and delay the investigation. Her autopsy showed signs of blunt force trauma to the head, and evidence suggested post-mortem dismemberment. A blood-soaked room was reportedly discovered in a hotel or boarding house, but it could not be definitively linked to the murder. Numerous leads and suspects were investigated, including a doctor, a railway worker, hotel staff. However, none of the suspects were charged, and no concrete evidence ever surfaced. Several theories have emerged over the years, possibly committed by a jealous lover or rejected suitor. Sex work connection: if she had been involved in sex work, the murder may have stemmed from a violent encounter. Organized crime: a more conspiratorial theory suggests she may have been killed as part of a larger criminal operation. Psychopath killer: some have speculated it was the work of a serial killer, although no similar murders followed. Jaroslav Stodola, born 1966. Background: former military man, known to have a violent personality. Criminal record: history of theft and minor offenses. Dana Stodola, born 1970. Background: worked in various low-wage jobs, described as submissive but complicit. Relationship: married to Jaroslav in the late 1990s. The couple lived a transient lifestyle, often unemployed and financially unstable. Their crimes appear to have been largely motivated by money, and they primarily targeted elderly individuals living alone. Over a 2-year period, the Stodolas murdered at least 8 people, although some investigators suspect there may be more victims. The murders were committed in small towns and villages across central and eastern Bohemia. Zdenek S., age 75, March 2001, Mirosov. Found dead from head trauma, initially thought to be accidental. Marie C., age 68, April 2001, Chatu Hilovist. Smothered, also ruled an accident at first. Joseph K., age 78, June 2001, Zaruk nad Sazavu. Suffocated with a pillow, valuables missing. Antonine K. and Marie K., married couple, 2002. Murdered in their home, bodies burned to cover evidence. Marie D., age 85, early 2003, Ratage nad Sazavu. Killed and her house set on fire. Marie S., age 75, April 2003, Ratage nad Sazavu. Strangled with a towel after being robbed. Yaroslava S., age 78, last known victim, May 2003. Murdered in her home, cash and jewelry stolen. The couple targeted elderly people, usually living alone in remote or rural homes. They would gain trust, sometimes pretending to be helpful neighbors or seeking assistance. Once inside, they would strangle or suffocate the victims, often with towels or pillows, steal valuables, such as cash and jewelry. Sometimes set fires to destroy evidence or stage accidents. They often left crime scenes appearing as natural deaths, accidents, or fires, which initially misled investigators. Despite several suspicious deaths, many early cases were classified as natural causes or accidents due to poor forensic procedures and assumptions about elderly deaths. The breakthrough came in mid-2003, when investigators re-evaluated the pattern of deaths and noticed similarities in victim profiles and methods. Signs of staging and missing property. Yaroslav and Dana Stodola were arrested in September 2003. During interrogation, both eventually confessed to the murders. Dana claimed she was dominated by her husband, but evidence showed she was actively involved in multiple killings. Full name: Petr Zelenka. Born February 6, 1976. Hometown: Havlíčkův Brod, Czech Republic. Occupation: nurse at the internal medicine ward of Havlíčkův Brod Hospital. Personality: colleagues described him as quiet and solitary. He was considered competent at his job but socially distant. Zelenka had no criminal history prior to the murders and was trusted in his role as a nurse. However, beneath the surface, he harbored dark and dangerous tendencies. Between May and September 2006, Zelenka murdered patients under his care by intentionally administering lethal or excessive doses of heparin, a blood-thinning medication. Heparin prevents blood from clotting and can lead to internal bleeding if misused. Zelenka would inject heparin covertly, often without a doctor's order or patient need. Victims would begin to bleed internally, often suffering strokes or uncontrollable hemorrhages. In many cases, patients died before doctors could determine the cause or intervene. Zelenka also reportedly turned off life support systems, tampered with patients' IV lines, fabricated medical records to cover his actions. Zelenka was officially convicted of 7 murders and 10 attempted murders. All victims were patients in the hospital's internal medicine department. Most were elderly or vulnerable, already hospitalized for other health concerns. Some victims survived thanks to emergency medical intervention, leading to suspicion and eventually investigation. Hospital staff began to notice unusual bleeding patterns and an increase in unexpected deaths in Zelenka's ward. A doctor became suspicious after a patient experienced massive internal bleeding without medical cause. Internal audits revealed irregularities in medication records and protocols. Security footage and evidence began to point to Zelenka as the common link. Zelenka was arrested in October 2006. Zelenka initially denied all accusations but later confessed during questioning. Power and control. Experts suggested he may have had a God complex, enjoying the ability to determine who lived or died. Attention-seeking. There is speculation he caused crises to appear as a hero when helping resuscitate patients. Psychological disorders. Some psychiatric evaluations pointed to antisocial personality traits or psychopathy. He showed no significant remorse during the trial, further shocking the public. Location: Lucka, near Valašské Meziříčí, Zlín region, Czech Republic. Date of murders: likely occurred around April 2022. Discovery date: May 1, 2022. Family members: Jaroslav Harok, age 61, father, bodybuilder, personal trainer, known in the local fitness scene. Veronika Harakova, age 47, mother, worked as an accountant. 3 children: Clara, age 18, recently graduated student. Veronika Jr., age 16, high school student. Jaroslav Jr., age 8, youngest child in the family. They were considered a well-off and respected family in their quiet village. Jaroslav had been active in the bodybuilding community and had worked with various gyms and athletes. The entire Harok family was found dead inside their home on May 1, 2022, by a relative who had grown concerned after being unable to reach them for several days. All 5 family members were found shot dead in different rooms of their home. The house was neat and locked from the inside, with no signs of forced entry. A legally owned firearm was found at the scene, reportedly used in the killings. Official conclusion: Jaroslav Harok, the father, shot his wife and children, and then turned the gun on himself. Authorities quickly ruled the case a murder-suicide. No suicide note, no written explanation or suicide note was left behind. The lack of motive became one of the most perplexing aspects of the case. Speculated motives: unconfirmed, financial troubles. Some sources speculated that the family may have been under financial pressure, possibly due to debts or failed business ventures. Mental health issues: friends reported that Jaroslav had changed behavior in the months prior, possibly showing signs of depression or psychological distress. Possessiveness or control: some theories suggest he may have feared losing control of his family or saw the murder as a twisted act of protection. Steroid or substance use: given his history as a bodybuilder, some speculated about possible steroid-induced psychosis or rage, though this remains unconfirmed. Police have not confirmed any definitive motive, and most psychological theories remain speculative due to the absence of clear evidence. 1926–1927, Leszon embarked on a violent crime spree across Moravia and Slovakia, breaking into homes, stealing weapons, and killing or wounding anyone who stood in his way. Murders: Leshan murdered at least 4 police officers, often in cold blood. He would often ambush police, shoot them at close range, or kill during escapes. Several more people were injured or assaulted during his raids. He was known to steal weapons from police stations and used those weapons in subsequent crimes. In one daring act, he robbed and killed a gendarme, took his uniform, and wore it to avoid suspicion while traveling. Leshan was known for being cunning, ruthless, and charismatic. Despite his violence, some segments of the public romanticized him, seeing him as a rebel against authority, similar to how other infamous criminals like Jesse James or Ned Kelly were mythologized. In reality, however, he showed no mercy and killed even unarmed or surprised victims, especially law enforcement officers. Leshan was captured multiple times by police but repeatedly escaped custody, either through bribery or manipulation of guards. Lock-picking and crawling through ventilation shafts. Violent confrontation during transfer. One of his most legendary escapes was from a police station in Uherské Hradiště, where he overpowered guards and fled. These escapes only enhanced his public notoriety and embarrassed the Czechoslovak police. In March 1927, Leshan was finally captured for the last time after being wounded in a shootout with police. He was taken to Olomouc prison, under heavy guard. Despite his injuries, he attempted another escape, but was stopped. His trial was held in June 1927, where he was found guilty of multiple murders and robberies. The trial drew large crowds and intense media attention. Name: David Kozák, born August 12, 1999, occupation: graduate history student at Charles University in Prague, previously worked at Václav Havel Airport. Academic record: graduated with honors, awarded the Marian Tchaikovsky Prize for his bachelor's thesis. International Business Times. Background: no criminal history, passed enhanced background checks to legally obtain multiple firearms. December 15, 2023 Klarnovas Forest murders. Shot and killed a 32-year-old man and his 2-month-old daughter in woods near Prague. December 21, 2023 Patricide and university mass shooting. Morning: murdered his father in Hostin, then retrieved weapons and explosives at home. Afternoon: traveled approximately 21 kilometers to Charles University, Faculty of Arts, and opened fire from a rooftop with multiple firearms. Result: 14 people killed, including Lenka Hlavkova, head of musicology, approximately 25 injured. End: Kozák committed suicide after being cornered by police. Total confirmed fatalities: 17, 2 in forest, 1 father, 14 at university, no extremist tie. Authorities found no evidence of ideological or terror links. Inspirations: fascination with previous school shooters, notably Russian cases like Bryansk and Kazan, raised concerns online. Mental state: post-mortem evaluations reveal strong suicidal and homicidal ideation, driven by resentment and misanthropy, not diagnosable mental illness. Preparation: he meticulously planned months ahead, studied building layouts, class schedules, and amassed weapons using inheritance and airport salary. Legally owned firearms included pistols, shotguns, semi-auto rifles, including an AR-10 and Glock model. Also stockpiled explosives at home. Detailed attack planning, floor plans, student counts, shooting route, demonstrated high premeditation.